Welcome back to Money Mastery Now, the channel that helps you take control of your money, one smart habit at a time. If you want to master your budget, crush debt, and build lasting wealth, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Do you feel like no matter how hard you try, your money is gone before the month even starts? You're not alone. That feeling of working hard every day but still struggling to cover the basics is something many people are living with right now. Rent is higher. Groceries cost more. Gas prices go up and down, but mostly up. And even the little things like laundry detergent or a carton of eggs can throw your budget off track. You might be doing everything right. You show up for work. You cut back where you can. You try not to spend on anything extra. But at the end of the day, it still feels like there's nothing left to save. It's exhausting. And it makes you wonder if budgeting even makes a difference when your income barely stretches far enough to get by. If you've ever felt like that, this video is for you. In this video, we're going to break down simple, real-life budgeting strategies designed specifically for low-income households. These are not generic tips for people making six figures. This is for real people dealing with real pressure. No shame, no fluff, just practical advice that works when every dollar matters. Whether you're trying to get out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle, build a small emergency fund, or just feel more in control of your money, there is a way forward. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need a starting point. So let's get into it. Let's talk about how to make the most of what you earn, even when it feels like it's not enough. Before you can build any kind of budget, you need to start with one simple question. How much money are you actually working with? That means knowing your real income, not what your job says you make on paper, but what you actually take home after taxes, health insurance, and any other deductions. This is called your net income. It's the amount that shows up in your bank account every payday. If you get paid weekly, add up all your weekly deposits for the month. If you're paid twice a month, total those two deposits. That's your starting point. Now, what if your income changes from week to week? Maybe you work hourly shifts, pick up gigs, drive for delivery apps, or earn tips. That's okay. You can still budget, you just need to be a little more flexible. Start by looking at your last 3 months. What's the lowest amount you made in a month? Use that number as your baseline. It's better to underestimate than overestimate, especially when money is tight. If you make more some months, that's a bonus, not something your budget depends on. Once you know your income, it's time to look at your spending. And this part might be uncomfortable, but it's important. Track every dollar you spend for at least 30 days. Not what you think you spend, what you actually spend. That means going through bank statements, receipts, and even cash purchases. Write down or log every transaction, whether it's rent, gas, coffee, or a quick snack from the corner store. You don't need to use a fancy app if you don't want to. A notebook, a simple spreadsheet, or your phone's notes app will work just fine. The goal is to get honest with yourself, because when you see the full picture, you'll understand where your money is really going and where you can start making changes. Most people are surprised by what they find. It's not always the big bills that throw us off. It's the small things we don't notice piling up. So to sum it up, know your net income, track your real expenses, and give yourself a full 30 days of clarity. This step lays the foundation for everything that comes next. Up next, we'll talk about a simple budgeting method designed for times when money is tight, the bare bones budget. Now that you know your real income and expenses, it's time to talk about a budgeting approach that's built for tough times. It's called the bare bones budget. A bare bones budget is exactly what it sounds like. It's a no-frills financial plan that covers only the essentials. That means you focus only on what you truly need to survive and stay stable, nothing extra, nothing fancy. The goal isn't to live this way forever. It's to help you get through difficult months, avoid going into debt, or start saving a little bit, even when money is tight. So what counts as a need in a bare bones budget? First, housing. That includes your rent or mortgage. and whatever it takes to keep a roof over your head. Second, food not takeout or meal kits, but groceries and basic kitchen staples. Third, transportation, whether that's gas for your car, a bus pass, or ride shares to get to work. And fourth, utilities. That means electricity, water, heating, and your phone bill, anything that keeps your home livable and your life functional. These four areas, housing, food, transportation, and utilities, should be your top priorities. If you can cover these consistently, you're on solid ground. Now let's talk about the wants. In a bare-bones budget, wants are not completely banned, but they are limited and intentional. Maybe you keep your Netflix subscription but skip the weekend pizza delivery. Maybe you get one coffee out a week instead of 5. The point isn't to deprive yourself, it's to keep your money focused on what really matters. Let's look at a real example. Say you bring home $2,000 a month. Here's how a bare-bones budget might look. Rent, $900. Groceries, $300. Transportation, $200. Utilities and phone, $250. Minimum debt payments, $150. Basic health costs or insurance, $100. Small flexible spending, $50. Savings or emergency fund, $50. That totals exactly $2,000. It's tight, and it leaves very little room for anything unexpected, but it covers the basics, keeps you afloat, and gives you some breathing space to build on later. If your income increases, or if you find ways to reduce any of those numbers, like sharing housing costs, using public transportation, or getting help with groceries, you can shift extra funds toward paying down debt or building a larger emergency fund. The bare-bones method isn't about guilt or restriction. It's about focus. It's about taking control of your money instead of letting it control you. And once you have the basics covered, you can start thinking about how to build in a little more flexibility. In the next section, we'll talk about how to use the 80-20 rule to balance survival with progress even on a limited income. If you've ever looked at traditional budgeting rules like 50-30-20 and thought, that just doesn't work for my situation, you're not wrong. When you're living on a low income, you need a framework that makes sense for your reality. That's where the 80-20 rule comes in. It's simple, flexible, and works even if your income is limited. Here's how it breaks down. 80% of your income goes to your basic living expenses, things like rent, food, utilities, transportation, and the other essentials we talked about in the bare-bones budget. That's your survival money. The amount that keeps the lights on, keeps your kids fed, and keeps you getting to work. The other 20%, that goes towards savings and debt. And yes, even on a low income, you can and should still aim for that 20% no matter how small it feels. This is where the mindset shift happens. We often believe we have to wait until we have more money to start saving. But that's backwards. It's not about how much you save, it's about building the habit of saving. Let's say you bring home $1,800 a month. 20% of that is $360. If you can hit that number, amazing. But if you can only do $50, or even $20, that's still a win. The key is to make savings and debt payments a part of your regular budget, not something you only think about after everything else is paid. This is called paying yourself first. It means treating your savings like a bill that has to be paid, just like rent or your phone plan. Even if you only start with $5 a week, the amount doesn't matter nearly as much as the consistency. Over time, those small deposits add up, and more importantly, they build confidence. They prove to you that yes, you can save even when things are tight. You can also use that 20% to chip away at debt. If you have credit cards or loans, this portion of your budget can go toward extra payments, even small ones, to reduce interest and build momentum. The 80-20 rule is not about perfection. It's about progress. If you can only manage 90-10 or even 9-55 at first, that's okay. The point is to build the habit and to protect your future a little bit at a time. In the next section, We'll talk about specific ways to stretch that 80% as far as possible, cutting costs without sacrificing quality of life. When you're on a tight budget, saving money can feel impossible. But here's the truth: saving isn't about cutting out everything that brings you joy. It's about being intentional and looking for small leaks in your spending that add up over time. Start by identifying just one or two small things you can live without. That might be a daily coffee run, a streaming subscription you rarely use, or those extra snacks at the gas station. You don't have to cut everything. But even trimming just $10 or $15 a week gives you money you can put towards something more meaningful, like peace of mind. Next, let's talk about your first savings goal. If you don't already have an emergency fund, start there. Your first target isn't thousands of dollars. It's 500. That's it. $500 is enough to cover most unexpected expenses, like a flat tire, a last-minute prescription, or a surprise utility bill. It's also just enough to keep you from turning to credit cards or payday loans when something goes wrong. The key is to build this fund slowly and consistently. If you can save $20 a week, you'll hit 500 in 6 months. If you can only do 10, that's okay. You'll get there in time. What matters most is that you're building the habit and creating a buffer between you and the next emergency. Now let's make it even easier. There are a few apps designed specifically to help people save automatically even when they live paycheck to paycheck. One option is Chime. It's an online banking service that rounds up your purchases and deposits the change into savings. Digit is another. It analyzes your spending patterns and transfers small amounts of money you won't miss into savings automatically. And then there's Acorns, which rounds up your purchases and invests the difference into a portfolio. Even if you're not ready to invest, it can be a good tool to build the saving habit without thinking about it. You can also create your own version of automatic savings. Open a separate savings account at a different bank than your main checking account. Set up a small automatic transfer every payday, $5, $10, whatever works. And don't link that savings account to your debit card. Make it a little harder to touch, so it stays put unless it's truly needed. The truth is, saving money on a low income is hard, but it's not impossible. With small steps, a few smart tools, and the right mindset, you can start building financial security no matter where you're starting from. In the next section, we'll go over free and low-cost resources that can support you along the way, from food programs to budgeting apps to local assistance you may not know about. If you're working hard but still struggling to make ends meet, the truth is you shouldn't have to do it all alone. There are real programs, tools, and resources out there designed to help low-income families get support, stretch their budgets, and start building financial stability. Let's start with some of the most important government assistance programs. If your income qualifies, these can take a major load off your monthly expenses. First, there's SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It helps you pay for groceries through an EBT card that works like a debit card. Then there's WIC, which provides nutritional support for women, infants, and children under 5. WIC can help cover the cost of formula, baby food, and healthy staples like milk, cereal, and produce. Medicaid is another critical resource. It offers free or low-cost healthcare coverage for individuals and families with low income. Depending on your state, it may include doctor visits, hospital stays, dental care, and mental health services. LIHEAP, the low-income home. Energy assistance program can help with heating and cooling costs, especially during extreme weather seasons. And if you're struggling with housing, rental assistance programs and housing vouchers through HUD can make a big difference in keeping your home secure. These programs are not handouts. They are safety nets. They exist because no one should have to choose between feeding their kids and paying the light bill. Now, in addition to government support, there are digital tools that can help you manage your money day to day. Mint is a free app that connects to your bank account and automatically tracks your spending. It helps you see where your money goes and build a custom budget. YNOB, short for You Need a Budget, is a more advanced tool that teaches you to assign every dollar a job. it's paid. But if you're a student, you can get it for free for 1 year. If you're not a student, the budgeting principles they teach are still valuable even without the app. Good Budget is another free tool that uses the envelope method digitally. You can assign spending limits to each category like groceries, gas, or fun money and stay accountable. Finally, if you're paying high fees at your current bank, consider switching to a credit union or an online bank that offers low-fee or no-fee checking accounts. Many credit unions offer special programs for people with limited income, including second chance accounts, overdraft forgiveness, and financial coaching. The point is, help is out there. Sometimes it takes a few phone calls or some paperwork, but it's worth it. These resources exist to give you breathing room, to support your goals, and to help you build a stronger foundation for the future. Up next, we'll talk about managing debt when you're on a limited income and how to avoid the traps that keep people stuck. Debt is one of the biggest financial burdens people face, especially when you're living on a low income. And if you're not careful, it can feel like you're working just to pay off interest, with no end in sight. But there are ways to manage debt even with limited resources and start taking back control. First and most importantly, avoid payday loans if you can. These loans might seem like a quick fix when you're short on cash, but the interest rates are often extremely high, sometimes over 300% annually. What looks like a temporary solution can turn into a long-term trap that's very hard to escape. Instead, if you're falling behind on bills or struggling with rent, talk to your creditors or landlord before things spiral. It might feel uncomfortable, but communication goes a long way. Many companies have hardship programs, payment plans, or temporary relief options that can give you more time or reduce your monthly payments, but they can't help unless they know what's going on. Now let's talk about how to actually tackle your debt. If you have multiple debts, try using one of two strategies: the snowball method or the avalanche method. The snowball method means you pay off your smallest debt first while making minimum payments on everything else. Once that smallest balance is gone, you move to the next one. This gives you quick wins and builds momentum. The avalanche method means you focus on the debt with the highest interest rate first. This saves you the most money in the long run, but it can take longer to see progress. Neither method is better than the other. Choose the one that keeps you motivated and fits your situation. Even if you can only put 10 or 20 extra dollars toward your debt each month, it matters. The goal isn't to eliminate everything overnight. The goal is to keep moving forward and avoid falling deeper into high-interest traps. In the next section, we'll talk about how to manage financial stress and protect your mental health while navigating money challenges. Let's take a moment to talk about something that's just as important as dollars and cents: your mental health. Financial stress is real. It affects your mood, your relationships, your sleep, and even your physical health. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, when you're constantly worried about bills, food, or rent, it can feel like you're carrying a weight that never lets up. If that's where you are right now, I want you to hear this clearly. Your financial situation does not define your worth. You are not lazy. You are not failing. You are navigating an incredibly difficult system and doing the best you can with what you have. Money is not just math. It's emotional. And when you're struggling to make ends meet, it can take a serious toll on your mental well-being. That's why budgeting isn't just about numbers. It's about giving yourself a plan that reduces anxiety and creates a sense of control. If the stress feels overwhelming, please don't keep it to yourself. Reach out. Talk to someone you trust. Connect with a financial counselor, a mental health professional, or a support group. Many communities offer free or low-cost counseling services. There are also online forums where people share their experiences and help each other through similar challenges. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do this alone. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to slow down. And it's okay to take small steps, because every small step is still a step forward. In the final section, we'll wrap up this video and leave you with a few takeaways to stay focused, stay hopeful, and keep moving forward. Sometimes, The biggest financial breakthroughs come from the smallest habits. You don't have to overhaul your entire life to make a difference. A few simple changes in your daily routine can lead to real savings and a stronger sense of control over your money. Let's start with one of the most effective habits: meal planning. Planning your meals ahead of time helps you save on groceries, reduce food waste, and avoid expensive last-minute takeout. You don't need to plan every bite, but having a basic list for the week keeps you focused. It also helps you build grocery lists based on what you actually need, not what looks good in the moment. Next, carry water and snacks with you. It sounds small, but it works. If you're out running errands, commuting, or even just working a long shift, having a water bottle and a small snack can save you from impulse purchases. A couple of dollars here and there might not seem like much, but over the course of a month, those extra stops at the gas station or vending machine really add up. And finally, track your spending daily. It takes 5 minutes or less. Whether you use a simple notebook, the Notes app on your phone, or a budgeting app, just jot down what you spent that day. Don't overthink it. Just write it down. This habit alone builds awareness, helps you stay within your limits, and reduces the risk of accidentally overspending. You don't need perfection to make progress. These small actions done consistently can help you stretch your income, avoid unnecessary stress, and keep your goals in sight. Coming up next, we'll wrap up everything we've covered and give you a few final words of encouragement. So let's wrap things up. You can take control of your money no matter your income level. You don't need to earn more to start budgeting. You just need to be honest about where you are, clear about where you want to go, and committed to taking small, steady steps in that direction. We've talked about understanding your income and expenses. We've covered the bare bones budget, the 80-20 rule, and how to start saving even when money is tight. We've explored real resources that can support you and simple habits that can make a big difference over time. Here's the big takeaway. Budgeting is not about restriction. It's not about saying no to everything fun. It's about giving yourself permission to focus on what matters most. It's about creating peace of mind, protecting your future, and building a life that feels more stable even when things are hard. If this video helped you, please subscribe and share it with someone else who needs encouragement today. You never know who might be feeling overwhelmed or stuck, and your share might be the support they've been looking for. Thank you for watching. You've got this and you're not alone.